Hey, good morning, guys. BATJAC J.W. You are tuned in to another chat box radio, or whatever we want to call it, I guess. Uh, I know a lot of people like the this little chat that we do, so I keep doing them. And actually, I got a really cool message from somebody. Let me see if I can find it here. But I got some coffee and get it started. Excuse me. Based on right now, we have the latest during the recording of this. The radio show 128 just went public out on the main channel there. And it was entitled "I Went Live" because that's what I did. I went live, really for the very first time. Just kind of 4 days ago, according to the channel here, the status. That was a total it just kind of was like, let's try it. I mean, I just really didn't know anything about how it works, or always under the impression that I needed to get like a camera, like a webcam, all this stuff set up, program, and it just seemed way too complicated for me. I'm not a tech savvy person. I don't know how to really maneuver around the computer like as diligently as most. Somebody says, "Oh, it's so simple. You just cut, paste here, right click, and highlight this, and add it to this program, then chop it up." I'm like, you know what? I'm totally lost already. I mean, it's just you're speaking Dutch to me. So it's rather difficult. So when I was fooling around with my phone, which I think those things are absolutely crazy. It's like a love-hate relationship for me with those things, because it bothers me in a way that so many people are glued to them and not even aware of their surroundings. But then again, they have they're tools that have aided in many occasions and helped a lot of people out. It has helped me out navigating through this through towns and stuff, trying to find my own way around. They have helped in that sense. I think it's just like anything else. It's just too much of it, or you just it is not good to go eat fast food all the time. Even though most of us do, I'm guilty of it. I can just something about it. I guess they must put like an addictive thing in those. Who knows? But anyway, I went live. It was like, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Not sure what's going to happen. Let's click this button, and that's what happened. Boom. 53 minutes, 49 seconds of live with BATJAC J.W. And there was a lot of you that tuned in. It was more for me, for my smaller channel. It was rather refreshing to actually see that we had quite a few people watching and hanging out in there. That was pretty cool. I mean, for me, I honestly really thought I'd be sitting there by myself doing this live stream with nothing, and then would just have to go, oh, okay, well, that was an ultimate fail. I'll never do that again. But no, there was actually a lot of interest in it, enough to where we will do it again. We'll just have to put some stuff together, and we'll do that again, definitely. So, and then the other recent thing that I did was The Pile, which was just basically my other way of, let's say, how would you put it? It was just my other way of putting because you always see these videos of top 5. What's your top 5? Or your go-to stuff, if you had to pick one, if you had to pick two, if you have to be, etc., blah, blah, blah. I figured, well, I'm going to make a pile. These are, and it just happened to be 5 of them that bring a lot of enthusiasm for me and like because of what they are, what they mean, and everything like that. So it just for everything that they stand for what I like, that's why I chose them. And of course, you guys know I'm a big movie guy, so this is kind of how it works out that way. Of course, I get the Dirty Harry gun, The Witness, Pre-Model 10, Snubby, six-shot K-frame, Smith & Wesson, Colt Diamondback as a Brannigan, and just that classic World War I reintroduction pistol I got, that 1911. That just to me sums up. If I had to, there again, I guess, if I had to choose one 1911, it would have to be that one, because that's the closest to as old school as it gets. It's still newly manufactured, so it'll hold up. And who better to make it than good old Colt, the granddaddy of them all. And then, of course, I chose the Beretta 92 FS because I grew up with watching Lethal Weapon and Die Hard a lot, and just the romance between that. I had a little known fact, ironically, the NRA museum is, I think the gun that's where it's at. But they've talked about it too. The Beretta that was used in Die Hard is the same as they used in Lethal Weapon. Isn't that funny? So I thought that was kind of funny. A little added fact from the NRA files. And comment just rolled in by Peppered88. I don't know if Peppered88. I don't know if you're listening to these or not. He rolled in. Let's see. He made a comment on the radio, the 128. Of course, you guys got the audio of it first, and when I can, I always post it up on my Patreon page long before Saturday morning. So those of you that are on there, always tuned into the radio show and stuff like that, and extra stuff and exclusive videos on the Patreon channel that are free. You can go there, check them out. It's just it's on the Patreon stuff. So. But Pepper88 rolled in a comment about 8 minutes ago here, according to this, and during the recording of all this, the time frame and everything. So he says Black Dog and Roadhouse, both great movies. So is Dirty Dancing and Kinfolk. I think it might be. Is he talking about Next to Kin? That's a good one. I had that. I featured that on the last radio show, I think, and all Bogarts are great, and as Cagney too, right? Your Tile, I maybe this is some typo stuff. Your Tile, I think I went to live with Susan Wayward. I saw at the movies as a kid for 25 cents for under 12 years old. She won an Academy Award. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe it's a typo or something, but a lot of those actors and stuff from back in the day. That's why I gravitate so much towards it, is because they really captivated the screen. There was something magical about the movies they were making from that time past, and the actors. I just feel like so many of them today. A lot of the actors today, it's like faces and bodies, and it's like, oh, I really can't act, but I've really got an awesome face and a body. Oh, okay, let's just throw them in there because it's gonna work. I don't know. I really feel like the days of John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, and the Patrick Swayzes and the Steve McQueens and the Bogarts and all that, it's gone. It just really is. And it's like another. You know what? As a guy that has, he's older now, for sure. But he stood out to me as a pretty darn good actor. He's done a few good movies and a lot of them really came to light during his later years as he got older. And the actor is Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones, I feel, he was gaining more popularity, but he was already getting older by then. So it's almost like Charles Bronson. All those Bronson films that we all know and love, the dude was in his mid to late 40s already, and in 50s and 60s. If you think about it, before then, yeah, he was in some other movies, but he wasn't as popular. I think. I remember seeing him in the Twilight Zone episode. Yeah, you're like, wow. And then here's the other weird thing: is that those of you that seen House of Wax with Vincent Price, he was the henchman in it, like the little worker. Was Charles Bronson. I think he was actually, he might have been credited as his real name, which I'm probably going to butcher his real name, Brzezinski. So, but anyway, Charles Bronson, by all means, is definitely one of my favorites. I just bought a whole bunch of his films recently. I think I scored Death Wish 4 at Bookman's, and I ordered another one, Kijiti, Forbidden Subjects, off of Amazon and whatnot. I'm just such a Bronson fan. I really am. I just think he's just awesome. So I'm always on the search for it. There's a lot of, in fact, that's what I do on my free time, or my, when I want to spend a little bit of my money. That's really what it boils down to. It's like I'm DVD hunting. It's hard for me to kind of get to that where it's like, oh, DVD or disc or Blu-ray, Blu-ray, because I'm from the tape days. I'm a tape kid, So it was like back in, it was like, Grandpa, will you tape this for me off TV? It was that's the way it was. It was because we literally stuck a VHS tape into the VCR and taped it. It's just like, okay, well, we taped stuff, a tape recorder. So, Rolodexes and rotary phones. And here we are. We got 454 Packer. You prefer the older movies? Me too. You have any favorite newer movies? He says. Always more wants than money, right? Yeah. But favorite newer movies? I do, actually. There is some newer movies that I really like. One of them right away, and of course there's a lot of them, and I may not be able to come up with all of them right now off the top of my head, but A Walk in the Woods is actually a movie that came out that I really like. It's got Robert Redford and Nick Nolte in it, and when I read that was coming out, it's a comedy. It's based on a book, but they geared the movie more towards the comedy aspect than the book did, which from what I understand, but it is very funny. It's a good humorous movie, and what I think really makes it is Nick Nolte's character, because he's that crude, rude, crusty, salty guy in it, and plays it well. And that movie really, I think, for me, I felt like it was such a sleeper of a film. I don't know why it was not popular. I just don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it wasn't popular, more popular, because it was really funny. I thought it was funny. It's great. It's about these two aging guys that say, you know what? Robert Redford says, I want to do one last hurrah thing before I get to the point where I can't, or maybe kick the bucket or something. But he says, I'm going to hike the Appalachian Trail. Everybody says, you're nuts. You can't do that. So he given a strict stipulation by his wife, says you can't go alone. So he starts making a bunch of phone calls. Everybody's like, call me, giving him messages back. Yeah, call me when you're not joking around with me. Bye. So, and then the only person that comes through for him is obviously Nick Nolte, which is his character of his buddy, his longtime buddy. And she says, weren't you guys like really upset each other, at each other's throats, or didn't you guys want to kill each other? He says, oh yeah, that was late. That was right off the bat, kind of thing. So anyway, long story short, they go on this little hike together, and it's full of surprises and funny. So yeah, that's a newer movie I really like. And on the other end, one of my favorites, no doubt, is I really do. There's a lot of Coen brother movies that I do like. The Big Lebowski, the Fargo, and of course I really like No Country for Old Men. And I really feel like Tommy Lee Jones really hit it out of the ballpark with that movie. He really did a good job in it. I've been a fan of Tommy Lee Jones. I just, U.S. Marshals is great. The Fugitive, two of my favorite actors right there, Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, going back and forth. Harrison Ford, I just love the way, I've always liked his movies. Of course, he's in one of my top movies for buying a gun, Witness, during the 80s, and that pre-Model 10 snubby 6-shot Smith & Wesson that he's got. That was responsible so much for me tracking that thing down solely just because of that movie. And I don't know. I mean, I guess some people, I don't know. I'm sure there's others that like that, but I have this like extreme connection and addiction to that. Where I saw it in a movie and it just has it resonates so much with me that I just can't help myself. I have to go and track it down if it's something that I really, really like Dirty Harry in the Model 29. It's a big old honking revolver. And why would you even consider it? Well, obviously, because you watch Dirty Harry a lot. So, anyway, and I'm sure there's a lot of other newer movies that have come out that I've enjoyed. And, a lot of times it's, it could be like a Schwarzenegger movie. It could be a Stallone movie, because I grew up with that stuff. I mean, I'm from that time where I grew up watching Commando and Rambo and all them, blow 'em up, shoot 'em up actions. My father enjoyed watching these things, so I got to, sit in and watch them. I guess I was lucky enough to where my parents didn't really say, oh, you can't watch that. That's rated R or something like that. No, my mom. I like Terminator 2 so much that my mom bought it for me on videotape, and I probably wore that tape out, just watching it over and over again. But then again, I mean, I also was watching the sitcom Alf. Alf was one of my favorite things to watch growing up, and it still is. And I own all 4 seasons on Blu-ray of Alf, and I do still watch it. It's just, I don't know. That's just something I guess you'd have to have grown up with it and watched it during its time. So I know a lot of probably younger kids now, 20-year-olds or whatever, would just not get it. You'd have to have grown up with it. So it's just kind of one of those things. But I'm really just happy that my parents and my grandparents and stuff, they raised me to liking those things. I mean, geez, I was practically raised on John Wayne. Just always watched John Wayne. John Wayne is the king. And, speaking of the king, too, I guess, I don't know if it's a known factor. I don't know how many people know. I'm a big Elvis fan, too. I actually have some vintage Elvis cards that I have. So, and you know what? I read that Elvis was actually a pretty big gun collector, too. It's pretty neat. So, anyway. Lion Quest Fitness, he says, you look good in black, BATJAC. Blackjack. Hey. And he says, good guys wear black. Yes, they do. I'm not going to go kick through a windshield, but I wonder how many people would actually have gotten that. That's interesting. I think that was one of his one of Chuck's very first breakthrough movies. Literally breakthrough, and then he really did that. He kicked right through a windshield. Okay, Bernard Flood, greetings from Ireland. I always look forward to Saturday afternoons as I am 8 hours ahead of you. Although the sun rises earlier here, it shines brighter where you live. I do appreciate it. And I know there's a lot of you guys are always the diehard guys that literally are there every time. I appreciate it. Joe P, of course, Joe P. He says, good morning, J.W. Good morning, Joe. And Mr. Holster has tuned in, too. And he was referring to a lot of the stuff that I have done to the channel and everything. Mr. Holster is a good guy. I think that's what's so neat is it's nice to see channels like him that we have catered more towards things that I feel like maybe don't get enough attention, or we're just a couple of guys that are just still stuck in the past and don't want to move forward. If and this is no joke. If there was a time machine, and they said, "Would you like to go back? Pick the year you want to go back to." I definitely would, without a doubt. I would just go right back. I would say, take my age right now and put me in the 1960s. I think that would just be, I think that would be just. I'd like to go to that and see that, and see America from that time. I think I just would fit more. I really do, and then to have see everything and do everything. I always say this, I look at Clint Eastwood's life. Clint Eastwood, born in 1930. I mean, that guy got to see America through a lot of stuff, man. The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, he got to see it all, man. I mean, just a lot of stuff that was just going through and changing. I mean, just to think, born in 1930, by the time the 40s came around, the dude was 10 years old. So it's crazy. And then good old Burt Reynolds, man, and Burt Reynolds passed away. It just, just these guys, they're fading out, and they're going, and they're disappearing. Not many of them left. So, but all right. So, okay, let's get to talking about something that I did. And as you guys know, you're tuned into this channel. Let's go back and click on this channel. So I had, when I was doing the updates video, I was telling you guys about some stuff that I was doing and working on, and I went ahead and purchased a Glock 34. Yeah, it's actually the first time I actually bought a gun for the sole purpose of its function. Really, that's what it really was not involving too much of a movie. It was strictly for its purpose, and it was for my job and what I do, and I needed it for qualifications, and I figured it would give me the edge to qualify, and also I wanted something that being that I could get more into shooting and shoot more and pull the trigger on the range a little bit more. So the Glock 34 has provided me with that. It's just something that it's like a workhorse gun, because I mostly own a lot of old stuff, and I enjoy those things for what they are. It's nice to know I can still take them out and enjoy them and put some rounds through it, but it's not something like I'm going to put boxes upon boxes upon boxes of rounds through it. I just don't do that to my stuff. I respect them. I shoot them. I do. Some people go, well, it's made to be shot. Well, yeah, of course. But then again, there's some stuff that I just keep for the collectible sake or the history sake or the historical. Like one of my old war guns. I still shoot it from time to time. Do I shoot it a lot? No. But it's really neat to have. It's a piece of American history. To have something in your hands that that played a big part in America, and it's the time and what it was involved in is really something to behold. I really think it's special. So I don't want to, I still enjoy it and want to have it, and I still fire it, but a lot of it is just having it and knowing that, wow, this thing, for what it stands, it just drips freedom. So, but yeah, so the Glock 34 provided me with now a gun that I can take to the range and put magazine after magazine through it, and rounds after rounds after rounds. So that's ultimately what I really wanted to do with it. So, and I got it. I may even go and blast some more rounds through it today. I don't know. We'll see. You're just getting better and better at honing it in and shooting it, and it really does shoot nice. The recoil is well absorbed through it and everything, and so and for the most part, keep it stock. So I don't want to alter or change too much of it, because I always felt like, people, they get stuff and then they run through and they put a bunch of, they take out so much and they put all kinds of other stuff in it, and then things start happening, problems. It's just some stuff that I've seen throughout working in the gun business per se. I've seen that a lot, and sometimes you do it right and sometimes you don't, and I don't know. I just feel like for my sake, this is just my opinion. It's what I do. You don't have to do it. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to agree with it. That's just what I do and what I think. I just say leave it the way it is, because that's the way the manufacturer intended it to be, and that's what it was tested and tried and proved with, especially when you're dealing with something like the Glock and its reputation. So, but yeah, and I liked it because it's the same size as a 1911, a full-size 1911 government style pistol, the way it was originally made. That's about the size of it. It's no bigger. It's just the same size, and that's the thing, is everybody, when you hear that term, a Glock 34, my gosh, that's a monstrous handgun. No, it's not really. It's the same size as a 1911. And for me, and I know it's like, I love my snubby revolvers, and I love them. I just can't get enough of those things. I have an addiction to them, and the Walther PPKs, because of James Bond and stuff. Other than that, I really don't care for small subcompact guns. I don't. It's just, to me, they're harder to shoot. Now I can hold my own a little bit with a little snubby. I usually can. I can usually shoot a little snubby fairly well, and I'm not bragging. I just I like to say I can hold my own with it. I've shot a lot of them over time, so I just kind of know what to expect out of them. Yeah, I just always felt like I just always gravitated towards just at least something with somewhat of a barrel length on it. Maybe that's just the dirty Harry in me, because I got so spoiled with the 8 3/8 barrel Model 29 that I got. That thing is a tack driver. It really is. It's such a fine shooting revolver. So it spoils you. It really does. So you get that way, and you just feel like, oh wow, you just can't. Man, that thing really can send them out there. So, but anyway, it was nice chatting with you guys, sitting down and chatting it up with you as always. So I appreciate you tuned in and sticking around and enjoying the chat. And I know there's actually, like I was saying, there is somebody that had wrote me a message, and I want to see if I can find it, because it was actually really a good message. I really I enjoy reading stuff like that, positive, supportive stuff. So let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Go into the main section of the comments here. Loading. Always loading. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Let's see. Wow, I didn't realize this page actually got as many comments as it did. Okay. Oh, somebody coming in. Must be old Santy sending me messages again. Alright. Am I going to be able to find this comment? Maybe not. Maybe it is. Yeah, it's too... sorry. I was hoping to be able to find it, but I didn't realize there was so many... I didn't realize there was so many of these... so many comments. Wow. That's really awesome. But anyway, the comment was that he really enjoyed these radio chats. Where I guess not many of us do them, so maybe because it's just the old school in me that still believes in trying to do something like this. That's like, sitting around listening to the old radio kind of thing. But anyway, this one's definitely for all of you that enjoy it. So thank you, appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.